What have I unplugged? Oh, there we go. That seems to make it come back. 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Right, let me know if you can hear me. And we'll confirm. Hopefully that is working. All I'm saying is no sound, no sound, no sound. It's telling me I've fixed it now. So there's a bit of a delay between what I say and what you hear. Volume good. Hey, thank you very much. Right, we'll start that again. Welcome everyone to the Aquarium Adventures Friday night live stream. We have got fun, we have games, we have... I probably don't have any of those things. We'll have a chat, should we? I've been away. I missed last week. Altogether missed last week. I've still got a bit of a sniffles. Poor man flu things. Sound waves are transmitting. Good, that's what we want to hear. So, before we start rambling nonsensically, let's at least say hello to everyone. We've got Rocky's Rocky. He was in nice and early. I will say he. You might be a she. I have no idea. Bunny Viper. Sharpies. Hans Hartman, good evening, sir, with your mayfish. Mark Brennan, we've got Mark in. Silver Surfer, nice to see you. NJW, hi from Doncaster. Hi from Sheffield. You're winning. You're always winning at some point with the... For those of you who are new here, we like to play a game with who's furthest away from me right now. So, NJW is probably about, 10 miles? 15 miles? Something like that. So let me know where you're from. Kaylee's in, good evening. Lee Kinsey, Bunny, listing everyone. Jim Kuhn, nice to see you, Jim. That's a name I don't recognise. Welcome, if it's your first time here. Dog Butter, I read that as Mutted, Graham. At least you got some of the right letters in my name. No sound. Oi. Coldwater Aquatics is here already. Coldwater Aquatics, I noticed you had given me permission to share your channel, or whatever the word is. So, if you hang around for the whole stream, Coldwater Aquatics streams after me, and you should be directed from this stream to that stream by YouTube. Amazing. Sound waves are transmitting. Good, that's what we want to hear. David Pinner, good evening from sunny Merseyside. That's definitely further away than Doncaster, so we have a new leader. Sounds weird. That's just your accent. Thank you very much. I don't know why I tolerate you. You do nothing but troll me. Jacob, hello sir. Andy Morrison. Oklahoma, USA. That might be a contender. Right. Distance. Sheffield to OKLA. I can't spell Oklahoma. Let's see. It thinks Oklahoma is in Manchester. Not that Oklahoma. Oklahoma, USA. 4,532 miles. That's what we've got to beat. Oh, we've got another one. Indiana. So what was that? 4532 INDIANA. Oh, I've got a noise for that. Don't know where it is. Okay, we used to have a noise for that, but I've deleted it. James Wilkinson, good evening, sir. There we go, Indiana, Coldwater Aquatics. Eric from Dundee. Good try. Yes, I gave you permission to channel for redirect. That's the word I was looking for. Lee's jumping into fish things way too quickly for a live stream, but what do you make of the Stendker Discus announcement? You've taken the word right out of my mouth. I had planned 2 topics to talk about. One being Megatank, because it's all I'm living, dreaming, eating, sleeping, thinking about these days. And 2 was the Stendker Discus announcement. So we might as well. I'll race through and say hello to everyone and see if we've got any intergalactic space travellers that want to take the title. Jennifer, Chief Mod's in tonight. Everyone behave yourself. Good evening from wet and windy Ayrshire. It's been lovely here today. I don't know why I feel I need the need to discuss the weather every time I speak to someone from Scotland. There we go. Dougman. Doug, hello from Jupiter. Hello, sir. Rob's in. Right, we got to the bottom. So, yes, two topics up for discussion tonight, as well as anything that you guys might like to bring up. But let's start with Stendker. So, Stendker Discus, you may know them. You may know that I'm a bit of a discus guy. They are a world-renowned, I guess would be the way to look at it, world-renowned discus breeder. So they're based in Germany, but they ship to people all over the world, and some people have made quite a good living by selling their discus on. So I think if you're in the US, people like Discus Hands and things like that, they're just resellers for Stendker Discus. And I mean, I know they all do their own little breeding projects on top of that, but yeah, they're shipping in a poop ton of discus from Stendker Discus, as are people in the UK. So I think like what's the one down south? Is it Devotedly Discus? No. Is it Devotedly? I can never remember the name of it. Yeah, Devotedly Discus down in Polegate. Again, made a very good name for himself as a discus, reputable discus breeder, one that I would be happy to recommend. But most of their discus are Stendker Discus that they go and they bring back in again. So Stendker, they operate on their reputation, let's say. So they are, in the discus world, you have wild discus, so ones that are actually living in rivers. You have domestic discus, ones that are bred for the aquatic trade. And those domestic discus are kind of split into very loose categories of Asian, and that could be anything Malaysia, Vietnam, China, whatever, and European, and European means Stendker. I mean, there are other subcategories within that, but that's essentially it. And the Stendker Discus, they make their name off some, I mean, they're bold claims, but they're not lying. I just don't think they're as unique as they always made out. So they stake their reputation on, they breed their discus in very hard water, and they're the toughest discus you can buy. So I've always had a little bit of a problem with that, because it's perpetuating this myth that discus are these delicate little snowflowers. Snowflowers? That's not even a word, Graham. Snowflakes. These delicate little flowers / snowflakes. When discus just aren't like that. They've not been like that for years and years and years and years. The majority of domesticated discus these days are pretty well bred. It definitely was a thing when I first started getting into discus, because a lot of the Asian farms would be, they'd be bulk loading all these hormones and chemicals into the fish to get them up to size and up to shape really well, and then they would sell them to the market, and then when you got them home, you weren't continuing with these not steroids, I can't remember the word I'm trying to reach for, but you didn't have access to the same drugs they had, so as soon as you got them in your tanks, they started to go downhill quickly. Stendker never did that. Now, none of the reputable breeders do that anyway, so you should be fine. But Stendker didn't do that. They relied on good, clean water, maybe overly zealous practices of, you must never keep your fish with angels, you must never keep your fish with this, you must only feed our beef heart food, you must do. They had rules. We went through them a couple of weeks ago, I think. But they were reasonably successful. And love them or hate them, they were a good, reputable brand of discus, if discus can be a brand. But announcement this week, even though they've been around for God knows how long, what is it? I'm sure I saw something earlier. In the 1960s that they started, so they've been going around like 60 years. They are calling time on the Stendker business. And not selling up, not pausing, not, have I just deleted everything? No, you're still there. Not taking a break. We've had it, that's it, done. They're going to be no more. They're going to sell up their current stock, and they say they expect by the end of the year, they'll be gone. And they're blaming rising energy prices. So I know that in Germany there's been a couple of bigger breeders, the Piowarski, I can never say that thing properly. They were the discus I was really envious of, because they've got some really good lines and striking colours. They've gone, Stendker's on the way out, and it's all to do with energy costs. Discus is an expensive fish to keep, because you need to heat water. And if you need to heat water, you need to pay for the fuel to do that. And if the costs have doubled, or even more in some cases, then that's what it is. So here in the UK, we would just blame Brexit for all our rising energy costs. If it's not Brexit, it's the war in Ukraine, because a lot of the fuel's coming from Russia. So I think certainly Germany and mainland Europe is a lot more reliant on that Russian fuel, so that's just sent it crazy for them. But they say there's been a few articles released. I'm not sure which ones are really true or really authentic. It's from piecing them together, it's basically, look, the energy prices have been rising for years. We've struggled to keep on top. We've not made any money for a long time, but now we can't even break even, so we're putting a lid on it. It's as simple as that. So, what do you think? Is this, how good, bad, indifferent, terrible is this going to be? It's not going to be the end of Discus, but it's going to be the end of a fairly prominent, fairly well-established line of Discus. The Discus community, they certainly have their camps, so there's a lot of people that are, couldn't give a poop, wouldn't buy a Stendker Discus, not going to make a difference to me. There's lots of people who have kept them for a long time, and they're getting quite upset now. They're going to be essentially they're going to have to wait for the current stock to die off before they can get more fish, or worrying about cross-contamination if they start to buy fish from other breeders and Asian breeders. It's quite divisive out there. There's a few people who just don't like Stendker. I mean, they were very overpriced for what they were, in my personal opinion. Pardon me. There's going to be a lot of coughing tonight. I'm still getting over my man flu, but I always thought they were fairly overpriced. But there's no getting away from it. They were good fish, rock solid fish most of the time. It's kind of sad that a business that's been that well established for that long is just going to be gone. And we'll always have the Asian discus farms. I don't think we'll ever have that problem, because they're being bred in farms which are basically, they're kept outdoor. There are no running costs. They don't need to heat the water because the water is hot. It's always been a bit of a strange model. I didn't know whether they were state funded in some way or got some kind of rebates for their energy prices, how they managed to do it on the scale that they were doing it. But it turns out they can't do it on the scale that they were doing it anymore. So yeah, let me know, what do you think of that? It's a thing in the discus community. It's a little bit I feel for the people who keep Stendker Discus, because I'm kind of in that boat myself. When you pick a supplier and you're happy with it and you want to stick to that one, and then they go away, you're a bit like, oh, what am I going to do now? So mine, for instance, being from Martin Ung, and my hooks into Martin Ung were through my friend Corbin Discus, and he's retired and moved back up to Scotland, not doing discus anymore. So I'm a bit like, oh, what? So the discus I have now will be the last of the Martin Ung discus that I keep. Now, I could always go and find a new supplier of the same discus. But yeah, part of it was I liked the, not convenience, I liked the personal relationship. I could go and drive for 20 minutes, go and have a look, have a chat, see what I wanted. Now it's going to be more buying online or making a special journey up to Durham or something like that, probably. I think there's one down in South Wales now as well, where you'll feel, or maybe you won't feel, I might feel a bit pressured because you've made the effort to go on a trip that you're going to buy loads of fish. Whereas if I was going over to see Tim at Corbin Discus, I'd be like, yeah, well, I'll take two, but nothing's really blowing me away this time, so I won't buy 10 fish. But if I'm going to drive for a few hundred miles, I'll be like, yeah, I'll take 10 no matter what. But so that's where we're at. Let me see if I can catch up with some comments, because I've been a very rude host and I haven't actually been reading your comments. Christine says hello from 3,343 miles away. Sharpies in purgatory. We need more lights, people. See, this is what we've been missing, Jennifer, when you're not here. The current mod team have been slacking. They just haven't been pushing the stuff hard enough. Lee says, I've had some of my Stendker for 2.5 years now. Got mine from Just Fins in Stoke. Shame to see them go. Got a feeling they won't be the last that the energy prices take out. You're probably very true, very right there, because it's certainly something that my other topic for this evening will be Megatank, and that's something that's been weighing on my mind is what a stupid time to build a massive fish tank and try and heat it. Because energy prices are definitely a thing. But that's it. There'll be lots of not only people who buy from Stendker, because most people who buy Stendker Discus buy them from a reseller. So whether it be your local, I don't know, Maidenhead Aquatics or independent local fish store, whoever it is, a lot of them get their fish from Stendker. So what are they going to do? Are they going to rely on home breeders? Are they going to go to Asian breeders? Are they going to do the sort of research that some of the specialists out there do when they're choosing their breeders? Or are they going to go for the mass market stuff and take the cheapest bidder? We're going to end up with lots of just discuses out there. No, that's not fair. We're going to end up with lots of inferior quality fish. Because that's the thing, the Stendker line, they were rock solid. But all good discus these days are rock solid, but there's still loads of crappy ones out there. So, who knows. Courtney's here. Hello, Courtney. Watching in the background. Nice to see you. Oh, Freshwater Ichthyology. Hello, good evening. I've had Stendker and sold Stendker. Exactly, yes. RNG Tropical Scapes. Noodle Sandwich in the house. Good evening, Noodle Sandwich. Yes, so I was saying that most of the advice out there is don't mix Asian and don't mix any discus from any suppliers. Keep them all within the family. But obviously it can be done. Sometimes it has to be done. Needs must. If you pick up some discus or a tank breaks or whatever the case may be, it can be done. And there are ways to do it if you want to. It's just obviously a lot more effort. More home breeders needed. I shall try and read that again. More home breeders need to happen to keep the genes going. Yeah, and discus breeding it's not for the faint-hearted. Getting discus to spawn and lay eggs I've found has been quite easy. Getting discus to lay decent yields that make it worth the effort is where that's where the skill is. Because getting fry from, I mean, it's probably the same for other fish. I've never bred any fish extensively, but getting fry from being free swimming, attached to the parents, to get them to that next stage, it's just a huge drop off. They need to be fed almost constantly. The water quality needs to be almost perfect. And I don't mean, it's just got to have no ammonia and low nitrates. It's like, your TDS has to be stable, your pH has to be bang on all the time. There's lots of variables and parameters when you're breeding discus to get any sort of what's the word I'm trying to not make it sound too commercial, but to get any sort of yield out of your batch of young, to make it worth the effort of all the water changes, all the feedings, all the hours that you'll spend monitoring these bloody things. It's hard, but really rewarding. Whenever I've bred discus, I've always done it for the experience of it, not for the how much money can I make out of this. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, but I was doing it very low yields. I wasn't getting hundreds and hundreds of fish off each spawn. I was getting 20, which that would be laughed out of the place if that was someone doing it on a commercial basis. But you have to remember, most people have jobs. They can't afford to spend all day in their fish room tending these fish. Perhaps we need some Graham discus in the market to fill the gap. Hey, if I could make enough money so I didn't have to do my proper job, I'd be all over that, definitely. Sorry I've been absent. I've had a very busy couple of weeks. I promoted for the second time in 8 months. Oh my goodness. And I got engaged. My God. Congratulations, Noodle Sandwich. Let's have a cheer in the chat for... Why is that not working? Okay, I was going to have a cheer in the chat, but it's clearly not doing anything. Why is my stream deck not working? That's OBS, that's why. But congratulations. Is that because you got promoted? You thought, well, I may as well get married now, I can afford it. No, it's not working. That's a shame. No, sorry, I'm waffling on now. So, does that mean I get a free bed now rather than a discount? I realise I still haven't used that discount. My understanding, Stendker is a very small gene pool anyways. It came from a very small number of Asian fishes. Explains what I experienced in them. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have a massive range. I sound like I'm overly commodifying the discus fish here. So have you got that one in blue? No, it's the options and different strains, colours, patterns, much more in the Asian side of things. But if you found a discus strain that you liked within the Stendker range, they were very much, we do these ones and we do them well. But yeah, more recently I've heard lots of people complaining about the Stendker fish not being as bulletproof as they made out. Evening all. Hello Scott. That ratio looks a bit off to me. Click that button. I would encourage you all to do just that. And hey, I found a new button last week. How do we do this again? Oh dear. I don't know. I might be showcasing something. Where's all my balls merch? Seems to have disappeared off the store. But that's a shame. That's what I was trying to promote. It's very popular in Scandinavia. Congratulations, Diddleson. Yes, congratulations. Congratulations. Where did we get to? Is home breeding or mixing genes and discus looked down upon? No, not at all. It's just a bit harder. So discus strains. So if you think about the people who breed guppies, for instance, I think there's something. So if you want to set a line on your new guppy strain, you need to have like a minimum of 9 tanks or 11 tanks or something like that, because you have to breed them into themselves so often before you get that true line to stick. Discus is like that on steroids. They have to go much further to be able to get to call a line, if that makes sense. And the genetics are just so much more confused that the majority of discus pairings will give you a load of brown peppered horrible fish. Now there are certain breeds. So if you breed a red turk to a red turk, you will get mostly red turks out there. But there are other strains like the Penang eruption. That's a fairly common one these days. If you breed a Penang to a Penang, you won't necessarily get a lot of Penangs. You'll get a few leopards, you'll get a few turks, maybe you'll come out of that, and very few Penangs. You get Penangs by breeding 2 other strains together. I can't remember what they are off the top. I do have a book on this, and it's a really interesting topic. I don't pretend to understand genetics at the best of times, but when my wife's a biologist, so I quite often going, what is this? Oh yeah, that's that dominant allele in this one and that. Yeah, okay. So it checks out that these things make sense, but the majority of discus pairs, you can't just randomly throw in a bunch of discus. So if you ever see on Facebook, for instance, someone will say, "Oh look, my discus have spawned," you've got loads of people going, "Yay, woo!" and most of them will have a couple of comments of somebody going, "Oh no, bad," and because most people are arseholes, it looks like they're just being negative about it, but what they actually mean is that's a bad pairing. They're not going to give you any good fish. you're going to end up with, the phrase is you'll end up with a load of brown fish, because that's more back towards the wild types. But they're just indeterminate non-strains that are just, it's the shape of a discus, but I couldn't tell you what strain it was, because it's just not even a colour. It's a bit red, or it's got stripes on one side, spots on the other. Not that extreme, but that's why it's more difficult. Pardon me. But it's not looked down upon at all if you get it right. There's lots of good quality home breeders. That's not true actually. There's not that many good quality home breeders, but there's lots of enthusiasts and enthusiast groups who are breeding, and they're doing it the right way. For the very short time that I was doing it, I was trying it, but I was just getting a terrible yield, and for the amount of effort that was going into that, it just wasn't worth it. Pardon me. Stendker were pushing Maidenhead Aquatics too far. The trade prices were insanely high, so much that there was next to no margin. Yeah, so I had trade prices for Stendker Discus as well. It was one of the things I considered. I had an idea, maybe I could just buy a unit and have hundreds of tanks in there and get a load of discus and start breeding them off. But anyway, I got set up as a trade account with Stendker to buy them, and I was like, either they're screwing me over or nobody's making money selling Stendker, because these trade prices are very near the retail prices. But yeah, they survived on their name for a long time, because we're the toughest discus, we are the best discus there are, we are the ones that can live in hard water. And then you've got people like Chen's Discus here. He's one of the, again, not really a breeder, more a curator or a specialist, I guess. But all his discus are raised, kept in straight tap water, London tap water. Well, it's not London anymore, is it? But it's not. Need a cough button. Still kept in hard water and not really. It just doesn't get mentioned. It's like, oh no, it's only Stendker that can do that. Oh dear. Alex G. Oh, there you go. I might need some advice out of you. We can go on to topic number 2. Radiant heating is a great solution for large tanks. I use my home hot water heater to heat my aquarium. Yes, I have a radiator in my fish room. That is my plan for heating my big mega tank. I feel bad calling it mega tank when Alex is in the house. Have you seen it? If you've not seen it, have a look at my Discord server. Alex has got some pictures of his build that's going on at the moment, and it makes my mega tank look like a nano or even a pico tank. But yeah, I've got a radiator in the fish room. That is my plan. If I am going down the heated route, then that will play a big part of it. It's annoying me because it currently doesn't work, the radiator down there. I can't get it to go above 20 degrees for some reason, but I'll figure that out somehow. Oh dear. Chris says, mega discus tank please. I'm almost certainly going to say no to that. Oh, sponsored by Heineken tonight, by the way. And the reason I want to say no to that is because I already have a large tank upstairs, and I want that to be my discus tank, because I will see that more often because it's in the main living space of the house, so I'll see it every day. I'll get to enjoy it every day. It's more of a high-end tank, so it's a more refined tank. It's more of a work of art, and I think the discus is perfectly suited for that work of art. I'm not saying my aquascapes will be a work of art. I'm saying that as well as it just being a fish tank, so mega tank is a big wooden box lathered in lashings of liquid rubber and water chucked in it. It's not a beautiful thing, whereas my custom built aquarium, that's a nice tank, and if I put really nice fish in it and try and scape it as nice as I can, that'll be a nice piece of living art. I think I want to reserve that for my my discus tank. Plus, it's a bit easier to heat that because it'll be in the house. It's a smaller volume. Oh dear, so sorry. So that's why I'm kind of erring away from that one. Quick quiz to see who watched the last video. What colour did the liquid rubber turn? Oh, I like this. Trick everyone into it. Discus Breeding says Rebecca is like watching a soap. Such drama. It is, and it's heartbreaking sometimes because when I was doing it in the old house, you'd be like, "Oh, there's eggs. This is amazing." And then a couple of days later, "Oh, look, those eggs have got tails. They're wiggling around. They're wigglers. Yay, we made it onto that." And then it'd be, "Oh, some of them have got funk. Oh no, they're all dead." Then the next time, like, "Oh, we've got eggs again. Oh, they've all dead. Oh, we've got eggs again. Oh, they ate them all." We get eggs, we get wigglers, we get free swimmers. That's brilliant. Oh, look, I can see they've got eyes and everything. They're feeding off the parent. Oh, the parents have killed them all. It's like, oh, it's hard to take this. This is a proper, And then there's like a stage where it's really hard to get them past it, especially when they get big enough that you can see them. They look like proper little fish, and then they just all keel over because your TDS went down 2 bumps. And you're like, what? So yeah, it takes a toll. Brown, we have a winner. Kaylee, you have won a prize. I'll send you a prize. Grey, no, sorry, not grey. Light brown, yes, close enough. You win noodle sandwiches, admiration and respect. Oh right, I'm quite behind in the chat. Sorry, let me try and catch up. Chris Cook, follow all your videos, due to move into a new house soon. I think I'll be tackling a wood tank thanks to your videos. Much appreciated. Yeah, glad it could help. Yeah, if a idiot like me can manage it, then it's a lot more achievable than it might be made out to be. Not black below water. So this is a reference to the video I put out earlier on today. Not dying, honest. The liquid rubber that I'm using turns brown underwater. Apparently it will go black again at some point, but I was a bit like, oh, what's happened here? Oh no, it's melting. That's not a thing, Graham. Why would you say that? Oh, there you go. Thank you, Jennifer. AquariumAdventures.co.uk for all your fishy merch. Fishy as in fish related, not as in off the back of a lorry. Steiner, good afternoon, evening even. Everything you see in Stendker you can get in Asians, but more. Yeah. Stendker's very limited range. Hans, I love my new t-shirt. Good, glad you like it. Apparently Discus colour genetics is the same as either betta or guppies. I think it's probably somewhere in between. Certainly I learned it by trying to I didn't learn it, make it out like I'm an expert. I've probably forgotten more than I ever learned in the first place, but I certainly went down the route of researching guppies to kind of understand the basics of fish genetics and how strains were locked and created. But bettas does come into that as well because they have some little quirks, so it's very good it's interesting stuff. I'm going to need to be excused for the rest of the stream. I've just had some devastating and heartbreaking news. Oh dear, that doesn't sound good. Well, you're completely excused. Hope you're alright. Sharpies, at the end of the day, they're still mutt discus though. What, the brown ones? Yes, I mean, I wouldn't be all that bothered about it. If I had a tank full of brown discus, still cool. Get to play with them, see how they grow up, but we'll see. Stillwater, hello yourself. I know what an allele is. I'm halfway there. Yeah, I must admit, when it comes to genetics, I talk a good game and then I'm leaning over my shoulder going, "Hey, what? How does that work? What's this?" So being married to a scientist does have its benefits. Although she does, I'll need to get her on stream one time so we can have an argument with it. Apparently there's no such thing as RO water. Reverse osmosis is not a thing. Who would ever like wild type fish? wild discus they're some of the more sought after types of discus, is the wilds. And they're also, I mean, they're not for everyone, because they're not like neon blue or green or polka dots or all the other crazy colours that you get with some discus. But yeah, they're very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Very delicate markings, subtle, understated. But you can get very cool colours and shapes and patterns, like the halos on some of the wilds are amazing. The heckles, I think that big black stripe there in the middle, that's awesome. The greens and the spotted wild types, there's a lot in there. Pardon me. Punctured discus. Now, that's one that I've not really had that much experience of, so I wouldn't like to say how that's done. But there are a few out there who do that type of thing, where they'll buy a load of discus and they'll start their own breeding colony and they'll breed from that. I really like Dean's fish room and his wild discus. Yes, well, his were wild collected by himself as well. Not often I see the discus the size of a 5-gallon bucket opening, only on YouTube. All I see are 3-inch weird ones. Well, yeah, your 8-inch discus is not something that's often seen in shops or bought. They are only by people who keep them and grow them onto that, because they'd be mucho dinero. I do apologise. Morgan, what do you think about the Stendker Discus farm closing down at the end of the year? I have no idea. I apologise, Morgan. We spent the first half hour of the stream talking about that, so you'll have to go back and watch that bit. I won't bore everyone else by repeating it. Greg Brock's up. I'm hopeful that my 2 blue diamond discus will breed. They're doing the shades all together, but no spawners yet. So blue diamonds are one of the kind of safe bets. If you have 2 blue diamonds and they breed, you will have lots of blue diamonds. So a good starter breeding fish for discus. Why not set up Mega Tank as a discus tank, fix the floor, then move the tank where you want it and put the discus in the show tank, and then choose what you want in your Mega Tank? Huh? Why not set up Mega Tank as a discus tank, fix the floor, then move the tank where you want it and put the discus into the show tank, then choose what you want in your Mega Tank? I'm going to have to read that again. Why not set up the Mega Tank as a discus tank, fix the floor, then move the tank where you want it and put the discus in the show tank? So do you mean temporarily put the discus in the Mega Tank? Possibly. So if you watched today's video, one of my main concerns about Mega Tank is anything that I put in Mega Tank is going to stay in Mega Tank, because I don't think I'll ever be able to get it back out again. I can't actually reach the bottom of the tank, so I'm going to have to get in it several times. I'm going to have to get in it to do the scaping, to do the hardscaping, the rocks and the wood. I think if I put discus in there just for a while, just to keep them there, I'll never get them out. So I think the discus will stay where they are for the time being until I get, and we're only weeks away from this now, until I get the floor sorted upstairs to put in the big tank. And then they can get moved up there. And it's a little bit more manageable having my big show tank, because I do like to keep discus in a planted tank, and where it might cost me hundreds to aquascape my show tank, it would probably cost me thousands to aquascape Mega Tank, because it's just so much bigger. And I kind of want to have, we'll talk about that in a minute. Brown is the new black, indeed. Neil's been banned from getting another tank, but I've been given the green light to build a wood-burning pizza oven with a barbecue next to it. built from Gabon cages and refractory concrete. Well, that was one of my things for this year as well. We were going to do a big pizza oven and barbecue. But in the end, I just bought a barbecue, and I'm now getting into smoking meat. But surely, if you've just got engaged, you've got to get one more tank at least. I bet after the pizza oven build is done, another tank will be acceptable. There you go. I'll definitely look for that. Thank you for my pen and keyring with my food order, Graham. Thank you very much for your food order, Rob. I'm sorry if it took a little bit longer than expected. I've been kind of floored for the last couple of weeks with man flu. So everything's taking a wee while to catch up. Might find people changing to cold water fish down due to energy prices, and I know the fancy goldfish market has got much more active now. Indeed, and that's kind of where I was going with Megatank. Was cold water fish was something I thought, oh yeah, maybe. It's now something I'm giving a lot more thought to, because it's not trivial anymore. The cost of running that tank and heating that tank is potentially going to be restrictive. Now, I'm not pleading poverty or anything, but this is still just my hobby. I do make some money from YouTube. I do make some money from you lovely people with your purchases through the website. If you buy my foods or my t-shirts or all that kind of stuff, that all goes towards paying for this. But ultimately, my priority is my family. I've got to keep food on the table, I've got to heat the house, clothe the children, feed the children, do all those things, and then whatever's left I get to spend on fish tank stuff. So fish tank spend is limited to whatever I can earn through YouTube, and I'm just not sure I'm going to be able to cover the costs of running a hot mega tank. I certainly can't cover the costs of building it. But that ship's already sailed. So it's a bit like, oh, am I going to be looking into goldfish now? And I've kind of always been on the fence with goldfish, because my grandpa had a goldfish for a long time. I think it was the same one, but it seemed he was one of these. It's kept in a bowl, no filter, dumped into the sink, filled up with cold water from the tap, and scooped up with his hand and put back into the bowl. And it must have lived 20 odd years like that. So that was my kind of first introduction into fish. The money that I've used to build out my fish room to pay for Megatank so far was the money that my grandpa left me after he died. So he died a couple of years back. My inheritance, so to speak, he left me a couple of grand. That's what I've spent building this fish tank. So that might be a bit of an homage to him to keep goldfish in it. And at the same time, also not go bankrupt trying to heat it so Discus definitely out the window. I'm not heating 2,500 litres of water to 30 degrees, unless some kind of solar panel wind farm jiggery pokery can be done to fund it that way. But even then, I just don't think I want that to be used for Discus. I want my Discus tank, my display tank, to be the Discus tank. I kind of feel like I've been talking about Oscars for so long that I want Oscars. I've been talking about bass, stingrays, arowana, but everyone that gets a big tank gets stingrays, arowana. I've totally done this the wrong way around. I've built a tank before I've decided what I want to keep in it. I should have just decided what I want to keep and then built a tank to suit it. But if I go goldfish, again, why I don't need to build an 8-foot tank to keep goldfish. I could just get a normal sized big tank and keep some goldfish in that. What other big, cool, cold water fish arsler that we could keep in there. That's why I was thinking down the koi route, or the kind of pond fish and have an indoor pond. What are the options for temperate fish even? Because if I'm going to be heating the room, and if I can get it to 20, upwards of 20 degrees as the ambient temperature, that might open a few more doors as well. I'm constantly researching things. I'm on the internet. No, I'm not. If any of my bosses are watching, I'm not constantly researching fish during the working day. But I'm constantly looking at things going, oh yeah, well if I get that means I can't get this, and this. But if I get the other, I can get that, and this. So that's just kind of where my head's at. So I'm accepting offers of advice, suggestions. Pardon me. But yeah, goldfish has definitely been one of there, because fancy goldfish are pretty fancy and they're pretty cool. There's not many people that have a tank that would be capable of putting in a poop ton of fancy goldfish. So I might save money on the energy prices, but the way the prices of fancy goldfish are going up, that might ruin me in another way. Doug says, will the price of discus rise now? What, because of Stendker? I don't think it will. I think it will... I think it'll totally unaffect the Asian market. I don't think Stendkers were affected by their pricing anyway. As I said earlier, I think Stendkers were a little bit overpriced, if anything. So I would be surprised if it made... no, my guess is no, but what do I know? Cold Water Aquatics thinks cold water fish is a good idea. Who would have thunk it, eh? You just got engaged and she's already banning your fish tank hobby. That's when you get to use that classic line, isn't it? You're beginning to sound like my ex-wife. I didn't know you were married before. I wasn't. Has anyone had any success with flying foxes clearing up blackbeard algae? Me, I have. I've had great success. In fact, they were the only thing, because I let my blackbeard algae get out of control, they were the only thing that I had success with. So definitely consider whether you want flying foxes. The silver flying foxes I got, the ones, they did a bang up job, but I kind of wanted them anyway because I thought they were cool fish. So as long as you want them, go for it. Wild discus. I just finished that sentence. Wild discus are a subtle beauty, like a fine wine over vodka. There's nothing subtle about fine wine over vodka. Barbecue parties end up costing a fortune, and you make your own pizza. It's cost effective and a load of fun. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of getting a pizza oven. We're going to go down the route of getting one of those unis as well. So I don't know, we might still do that. Who knows? Oh god, I'm way behind now, isn't it? Right, let's do a quick race to the bottom, see if I can catch up. Sharpie's on the points. Is it working? Oh yes, you have 29 points. It went from never having a fish tank to a 20, then a 50, then a 250 litre, and I still count it as a win. Very good. Craig Broderick, g'day everyone. I think you might win the Who's Furthest Away thing. If I'm not mistaken, you're in good old Australia. That was a terrible accent. I do apologise. Next DIY video, how to make a fish trap. You're probably not wrong. That's something that's been going through my head recently is, lots of things aren't going to work as normal with this tank. So the tank, I keep saying it's 8 foot by 4 foot by 3 feet, but it's actually more than 3 feet from the top of the tank to the bottom of the tank. It's probably like 3.5 feet. It's the glass is 3 feet, but the tank goes a little bit more, both above and below the glass. So it's definitely a soggy oakster if you get your arm in there. But in fact, I cannot reach the ground with my arm. I have to use my grabber thing. I couldn't. Hey, I tried to move some sand around and I got my little. I've not got it here, but my little aquascaping shovelly thing, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this? I had to get a snow shovel, get that in there. None of my algae scrapers reach the bottom of the glass. The glass is too thick for the magnets on my normal magnet ones. I'm going to end up going swimming a lot. I think that's the only thing for it, really. So I think my next DIY video will be like, these are all the things you don't think about when you build a mega tank. According to the internet, mega tank's just about big enough for a single male betta fish. Yes, I think I made that joke in my video today. That was potentially going to be my next video if I just put one betta fish and a snail in there and go, there you go, we've stocked it. I think I might go shopping tomorrow. I might buy myself a couple of goldfish tomorrow, just because I want a couple of goldfish and put them in it. Not as tester fish, but just I want to keep. My daughter wants orandas, so I might get her an oranda and let it live in there for a while just to see what it's like. Just for poops and giggles. The fish trap video's been done. We went to a river. Yes, we did do that. If you want big discus, you need to buy what you want up front instead of adding juveniles with larger fish. The larger fish release hormones into the water that stunts the smaller one's growth. I don't know if I agree with that completely. That has been said, but I've not seen any real evidence for that. Whereas I have seen small discus live with big discus and catch up very quickly and even outgrow sometimes. Goldfish would be a nice, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Mega tank koi, yeah, I mean, koi was something I was thinking of, but is it big enough for koi? Don't they need a bigger tank? If you like cool goldfish, jikin, if you can find them, they are amazing above and from the side. Less health issues as well. Oh, these are all things that these are all names that I do not know. Wakin Tamasaba and Sabao. I'll need to have to look into that. If you don't want to heat the water, there are tropical species that will tolerate cold water. Yes, that's what I've been trying to research and what works with what. So I don't want to get myself into the scenario where I pick one fish. It's like, oh, that'll live in a bit cooler water, but nothing else will. Or the only things that will live with that are things I don't want. Peacock mullet, nah, I don't fancy African cichlids. Well, that's not true. I do fancy African cichlids, just not for that tank. I've got like a 3-foot cube that I'm thinking of turning into a small African community tank. Simon says, Celestial Pearl, Danios, Hellstream Loaches, Endlers, Live Bearers, Clown Killifish, Cherry Shrimp, Dojo Loach, White Cloud, Mountain Minnow, etc. Yeah, they're all good cold water fish, but they're all tiny. I'm not as cool as it would be to fill a massive tank full of thousands of tiny fish. No, I don't want to. I want big fish. Cal has finished building our new 6-foot. So has he got over his sump related issues then? I don't want to brag, but I built my own sump. Didn't have even a drop of water spilt. Touch wood before I'll go down there tonight and it'll all be all over the floor. So you got an Oscar ahead of me. No way. Nicholas with the best idea so far. Retire early, move to South America and live off YouTube money. Get all the heat you need for free down there. Oh yeah, that would be good. Well, if you could all go and get like 100 of your friends to go and start watching my videos, then that might actually almost be possible. Goldfish can get massive given the right environment. Yeah, I have seen some massive goldfish, and that might be a cool thing to see. Yeah, as Rebecca's saying there, large goldfish look stunning. They do look pretty cool. I even thought about this, Sharpie. So you can buy like the smaller fish that you would go fishing for. So like rudd, tench, crucian carp, tench, rudd, and some perch would be awesome in Mega Tank. I thought perch especially might be really cool because I like the idea of bass, and a perch is just like that, isn't it? It's just not far away, is it? So I thought that would be cool. Crabs, turtles. Oh, I've thought about just about everything. I cannot make a decision. I'm going to end up just going out one day and buying something and be done with it. Herring, red herring, says Simon. Herring is not one that I have considered. Aren't they saltwater fish? Anyway. Next house I can set up my ponds again. I'm going to start rescuing fancy goldfish again, the size of them, and weather loaches. Well, maybe I should set up a rescue for bad fish keepers. I'll put them in my big tank. Saves me money as well. Odessa barbs. I do like Odessa barbs. I think they're pretty cool. Mine have been fine with koi and goldfish. Well, I don't know if I could keep... Yeah, I keep coming back to koi as well because I think they're pretty cool, but I don't know. Why don't you just keep turtles? They don't need a heater, and you can get away with sticking some large pond fish in there. Yeah, turtles, I've gone there. What temperature is the room? So at the moment the room's kind of 21 degrees, 22 degrees. I should be able to get it hotter than that, but my radiator's packed in. It seems to not want to go above that. In fact, let's see if it's working today. Because I had the central heating ripped out in this house and put back in again, but a new one put back in again. Well, it's saying it's 18 degrees at the moment. Well, the thermometers in the room say that it's 21. My Tado app says it's 18.5. No, 18.9, so 19. But ideally, I'm going to set it in the low 20s, and that, along with the tanks that do still have heats in them for the discus, should raise the ambient temperature to kind of mid-20s. Sterlets, if big enough, is a rare chance to see them properly. It might be a tad too warm. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I have scope to move these temperatures around a little bit, but some things are too cold, some things are too hot, some things is not middle enough. It's tricky. The portable pizza ovens, right then, now we're back onto the proper discussion of the evening. The portable pizza ovens are very good, but the wood pellet ones need constant monitoring and adding of wooden pellets to maintain the high temperature needed. So good for 2 to 4 pizzas. Yeah, and I'm one of these people that think barbecues, well, why would you get a gas barbecue? The whole point is to faff around with the charcoal and the wood. So I would definitely be getting a wood pellet one. So is it going to be too much faff? Am I going to get fed up with that? But I like the ideas. I've only ever seen them like on the internet, on adverts. I've never actually had an uni pizza or any of the other types. But the best pizzas I've ever had in my life was on a trip to Italy. Went to Naples, and that's all your proper wood-fired pizza ovens. Every restaurant there is doing it properly. And if I can get close to that, that's kind of my goal. I did buy one of those pizza stones for the barbecue. So you can put the stone on the barbecue, whack it up full heat, get the stone up to temperature, close the lid and open it up again. And that was pretty good. So we'll see. My parents have the portable one, and it's their either it's their cooking or it doesn't look or taste right. A lot of people have, we have a new subscriber, Mr. OK, welcome. Because quite often these pizza ovens and the unis and things like that, they're cooking a pizza in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So it's really, really high heat, and often the dough will get a big bubble in it and pop and burn, essentially. And people are like, ugh, you burnt the pizza. But no, that's what it's meant to be like. These pizzas that you get from Domino's and Pizza Hut and all that kind of place, Italians would be like, ugh, what the hell? That's not pizza. Try not to mix the comets with fancies. Good advice. Pardon me. When I'm building, the whole temperature and the structure of it, as it will be a 6-inch refractory concrete, and then a layer of insulation, then more. Well, you've clearly thought this through. I need to see pictures of this. This sounds like a good project. Write it all down, or maybe I'll copy it. I'll post my plans in Discord. Perfect, that's what we want to see. Will you be insulating Megatank? It kind of is insulated. So there's insulation. I've used the rock wool stuff on the sides against the side and the wall, and then the walls they're against, they're insulated again. I've now got lids, so that's the twin wall polycarbonate lids, so that's insulated. I've not insulated the side with the pipe work, because the pipe work's in the way, but I might get around to doing that. And I've only insulated half the bottom at the moment, purely because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with the sump yet, so I didn't want to put something in and then rip it out again. So it's insulated to a degree, let's put it that way. But the room that it's in is insulated, so yes. A few roach and a pike, yeah, I could just actually go proper fishing, couldn't I? How about 20 tinfoil bars with some clown loaches and some silver dollars? All things that I've considered. Kind of thing I've been thinking about. So this all started with years and years and years ago, when I first got into the hobby. I saw a picture in PFK or one of the magazines or something like that, where it was a school of Oscars. So most tanks that you saw had an Oscar or 2 Oscars, maybe 3 a push. This was like 8, and they were swimming like rummy nose tetras, the way they were going around together. And I thought, that's awesome. Now obviously, pardon me, I hadn't got into discus yet at that point, so I didn't know what real awesomeness was, but I thought, that's cool as hell, I'm going to do that one day. So that was kind of the inspiration for Megatank. But the longer that I was in the hobby, the more I didn't go off Oscars. I just thought, there's loads of cool things now. So that was kind of, I think Oscars are fugly. I think they're ugly beautiful. They're just weird looking ugly. The uglier the better in my book. I just think they're cool as hell. So that was where I started on it. And then I saw some peacock bass and I thought, that's amazing. That would fit in there. That would go really well. Obviously, I've always liked arowanas, stingrays. I think I was put off them by so many other people having them, rather than me myself being put off them. I think I got myself into the mindset of, everyone does them, so I don't want them, rather than thinking, I want them and I don't care whether everyone else does them. So I think I got a bit scared of potential accusations of trying to copy someone, where I don't want to copy someone. If I do, I don't care either, because I want it to be my decision, or our decision, if you guys are going to help me. and it's not something that I'm doing. Obviously, I'm doing this to chase views because I'm making videos about it, but that's not necessarily the core motivation for this. I want something that's cool in my garage that I can sit. My next purchase in the fish room, it might not even be a fish, it might be a lazy boy or a chair of some description, so I can sit in there and go, yes, this is it, this is what we want. So clown loaches, silver dollars, tinfoil barbs, any of the bigger like cichlid communities, whether it be Oscars, Green Terrors, Jaguars. I've got an opportunity to do something that's big enough that can give quite a few big fish their own territories. I am interested in keeping stingrays. I have no interest in going, oh, well, that's not a blue diamond and it's got 6 spots rather than 5. No, I like them because it's a cool shape. I'm not that bothered about it. Same with discus. I'm not that bothered about show quality discus. I just like nice, healthy fish. So that's the kind of stingrays that I would want. I really like sevrums. And they're just a bit like, sevrums. They're other people's gouramis. Like, sevrums. I think they're cool as hell. Owarus, I think they're cool as hell. I'm just trying to put together something that I don't think there's anything that I can get that will satisfy every requirement. But I'm trying to get some kind of shopping list almost of things that are cool as hell and I have wanted at some point, and justify building an 8 foot by 4 foot by 3 and a bit foot tank. I'm not explaining this very well at all, probably. Why not recreate a British cold water river? I'm just not that interested in doing that. Well, that's not true. I am interested in doing that to a degree, but a British river, what am I going to put in there? What, we're talking trout, graylings, things like that? They're not. That's not a river-shaped tank. It's as wide as it is long. Obviously, it isn't as wide as it is long. But I feel like a riverscape suits a narrower tank and a longer, narrower tank. Where this is something that's got a decent sized turning circle. I could get a Maboo puffer in there, although people still wouldn't be happy that it was big enough. I think this is... I've backed myself into a corner by building something before I've fully committed to what I wanted to put in it. And now I've got too many options, I can't commit to any of them. Right, sorry, I'm still way behind. The longfin koi are smaller in general than normal koi. In my experience, 1 centimetre extra tail length equals 1 centimetre less body length. Longfin koi, I really do judge people with him. Oh, I really do try not to judge people. Skiller, good evening. Thank you. Pardon me. Yeah, the longfin koi thing. I mean, I don't hate it, but there's lots of things that have long fins that you think, nah. Like longfin arowana, that just looks weird. I'm not a fan of that. Some of the longfin koi, I've thought, you know what, that's like a platinum white koi with long fins. That's pretty stunning. But I don't know. I don't think I don't hate it on koi. My experience of longfin carp is it's reeling in an old sack. Pardon me. I don't think I've seen another YouTube tank with tinfoils and a big shoal. Would surely look great with a shoal of huge clowns too. Yeah, clowns, I think that there's another area that I was going down of, it'd be quite cool to make a tank of things people buy at pet shops that they really shouldn't. So I could throw that off. If I got a load of bala sharks and grew them out to full size, a load of clown loaches, like you suggest there, and grew them out to full size, so people could see, oh, that fish that you buy at that size is going to end up that size. Oscars are like bulldogs, ugly but cute. Yeah, that's why I like them. Like bulldogs, Oscars are cute as babies, ugly as adults. If they stayed that way as the babies, they would be fine. But I think they have a redeeming quality. Their personalities suits their ugliness, and I don't disagree. I think they are fugly. I just, that appeals to me. I wonder why. I just think there's something about them where there's nothing I like more than an Oscar that looks beat up, because I think that's kind of the bruisers, the boxers. I think they just look good like that. Oh, dearie me. I have a pond, says David, with koi, ghost koi, shibunkins, goldfish, and a black fancy tail goldfish, all happy and spawning. I do want to have a pond as well at some point, so, maybe koi might be the way to go, because I could grow some small koi on in that tank, and then once I get round to the pond, which, let's face it, isn't going to be this year now, move them out into the pond. It's a possibility. Stingray are status fish, often kept only in the most sterile, bland tank for a fish that could be much smarter than a large number of animals. Yeah, and I think that puts me off as well, that the macho thing of look at my predator tank. It puts me off because I think people will be thinking, I'm like that I just, I want this big tank with these big fish because I'm big and hard me. No, I think they're cool fish. And it puts me off buying them because that might be how it's perceived. It's like folk you see out with Rottweilers, or not pit bulls but staffies and things like that, with the big gold chains on. They're like, I love nothing more than walking up to them and fussing the dog and going, ooh, and you get a Rottweiler giving it, oh, this is brilliant. Whereas the most embarrassed owner in the world is like, no, please leave my killer alone. It's not a killer, you're the cutest little big of a boo. I think that's hilarious. I make a point of doing that every time I see a big collar on a dog. Skiller, starting up my first marine project, starting small so as not to overwhelm myself. Looking forward to a new challenge. Well, do you know what? In my experience of marines, starting small is the challenge in itself. Usually so much harder to keep water parameters. They say it about all fish keeping, but in saltwater especially, I found it a lot harder on smaller tanks. Oh, Dad, Aquarium Adventures. Robert Kerr just popped in to say my usual thumbs up. Thank you, Dad. I want Stingray really to experiment with their intelligence and see how they work out problems. How about Xander? Oh, the fish. I'm thinking, do I know someone called Xander? Xander, are they like pike, are they not? What? I always get confused with Xander. Pike perch. That's the word I was looking for. Potentially. Pardon me. Long-finned Oscars. Yeah, long-finned. They fall into the not into it category for me, long-finned Oscars. I think that's like, because they're so ugly, anything to try and beautify them, it's too jarring for me. Something like that. Jack Dempsey's, yep, definitely they're on the list. The only koi ponds I've seen don't have sand or gravel in them. That's very true. Most koi keepers, they are entirely sterile environments. Most koi keepers seem to be under the impression that, I think the koi are the discus of the pond world, where so many misconceptions about these fish and how you keep them, or just a lot of folklore that seems to have come into standard practice that, yeah, your tank is entirely bare, you fiberglass a pond and that's it. Don't have anything in there, so you can keep the water quality pristine. So yes, having committed and already put sand in it, I would be doing a koi pond with sand in, but I don't think the koi would be that bothered about it. I also don't know enough about koi to go out and bag myself some koi. And every video I've ever watched of anyone going and buying koi is you go to Koi World or whatever your local koi place is, and someone talks at you for 4 hours about Japanese names and why that fish is 10 grand and that one's 60 quid. And I look at them and go, really? I can't tell the difference. I'll have the 60 quid one. So I feel like I'd either get taken for a ride or I'd insult someone unwittingly. There was a couple of koi channels that used to watch my channel, and they did reach out to me and say, look, if you ever get your pond thing off the ground, let's do a collaboration. I'll come and we'll help you out. So I think I need something like that if I was going to do koi. I don't know. I'm probably not going to do koi. It's just a thought that I've been having. Sharpie says that's because most koi keepers don't know what a carp wants in its environment. Yeah, obviously koi carp are a little bit different, but they are still carp, aren't they? Still what you find out in the rivers, canals, lakes. They're just like a posher version, aren't they? Jennifer says, had marines myself, and like Graham said, the easiest tank to keep was the 6 foot one. Yeah, bigger is better for everything, but especially saltwater in my experience anyway. Given your love of gouramis, hey, I'm coming around to gouramis. I'm almost sure I'm going to dedicate at least 1, if not 2 tanks to gouramis. I've been educated and my mind has been changed. I've just been keeping the wrong gouramis and looking at the wrong gouramis. And that might be something for Mega Tank. A big old gourami in there. That's something with that's kind of my criteria, is something with personality, something that I think is cool. And I know that's a bit of a ethereal, something that Graham thinks is cool. Yeah, I think weird things are cool. So a giant gourami would definitely fit into that one. Mega live bearer tank, yeah. I did toy with that, but I'm happy to rule out small fish. I don't want small fish in Mega Tank. I'll leave it at that. I want something that's worthy of the size of the tank. So there you go. There's condition number 1. Something that's worthy or justifies the tank size. So not discus, because I can keep discus in a much smaller tank successfully, although 100 of them would be cool. Not live bearers, not the normal cold water or temperate fish like your smaller white clouds. Absolutely love the fish, just not for that tank. Hans, I keep mine with gravel. Your koi, good. I think they get some kind of enrichment, like most of the cichlids when they redecorate their tanks. Most bigger cichlids, if you put them in a tank with gravel, will say, I'm going to build a mountain today. That's kind of an enrichment thing, I think, and I guess koi would do the same thing. There we go. That's what we want. More of a natural look. They love to move the gravel. There you go. I thought they might do. A 1 acre pond stocked with game fish would be sweet. It would be. I don't think I've got quite enough land to pull that one off though. My pond's more of an aquascape style with bog filtration using gravel, planted with land plants, so all natural. Water's pristine and clear, always tests zeros across the board. I think if I am going to do Oh, pardon me. If I am going to do a pond, I'm definitely interested in doing the bog filter thing. So I think that's my preferred aesthetically, it's my preferred filtration. Most of the koi people, yeah, they've got these extra sheds they build on the end of their thing with massive pod filters and drum filters and this, that and the other. And you think, is that just a bit much? Aquarium Daily, well done with the Mega Tank project, thank you very much. Still, Cyprinius Carpio, they want several inches of silt and litter in the bottom. Their natural feeding method is grubbing around for whatever they find. Yes, indeed. And with that, Dad's away. Thank you for stopping by. Altum's Wilds, yeah, not for the big tank, but yeah, definitely on the list. Giant Grammy or Fugly, yeah, that's kind of what intrigues me about them. Alligator gar, nah, don't get gars. Nah, I've had this conversation with various people before. Where, yeah, people are into gars, but no, and they are fugly. I just don't really get it. Well, are we still here? Is anyone else still here? Shall I just sing a song while we wait? Well, while I wait for us to see if anyone can hear or see me, I'll just construct a strongly worded letter to PlusNet. I don't know if that works or not. Hello? It says I'm live, but then it also says an error has occurred. We cannot connect you. What happens if I... What should we do? What should we do? Come on, brain, think of things. Live stream. Well, if I'm currently live, I may be about to bork it. Or maybe it'll work again. Who knows? Oh, yes. It looks like I am live. Right. Okay. Hang on. We need to do a bit of admin while we... Right, let's pop this one out. Put that over there. Get that overlay URL. Copy that. Paste it into there. Okay, that. Right, we're good to go. And that worked. Aquarium Daily is here. Right, I'm terribly sorry about this, everyone. This is my shittiest internet in the world. From the shittiest internet company in the world. PlusNet doing me proud my arse. PlusNet, I want out of my 2-year contract that you made me sign. The day that I got internet installed here, the BT van came round and installed fibre to the premises. And I was like, can I have that? No, you've signed up for 2 years of fibre to the cabinet. But not only that, we'll give you the shittiest fibre to the cabinet we've got. Sorry. And relax. I'm scrolling back up to see where we got to roughly. So, I realise now it's 10:30. I've been waffling on for an hour and a half and I haven't even done a giveaway yet, so we'll hopefully fit one of them in. Giant snakehead, unless you still have one, I can't remember. I've never had a giant snakehead. I do have 2 dwarf snakeheads, peacock snakeheads at the moment. I think giant snakeheads might be a bit more of a specialist fish for me. I might need to know a little bit more about them. I do think snakeheads are the coolest things ever, but I don't know if I'm a bit overfaced by the thought of giant snakeheads. Northern pike, again, pike's cool as hell, but Don't know if that's big enough for a pike. Bog filtration is so simple and only a spring clean required. Just ensure it's about 30% the size of the pond and definitely use a skimmer. I shall bear that in mind. Screen freeze, lagging. It's my shit internet. I do apologise. It's not the router. The router is a very good router. I paid a lot of money for that router and I have extensively tested it. It's not the router, it's the ISP. Shocking, the price of an aquascape pond in the US. A 20 by 40 was £169,000. Graham's dad popped in to hack the stream. It should be if that was a drinking game, I'd be creating alcoholics left, right, and centre every bleeding week. I forgot to put a shilling in the meter. While you're waiting, go and buy stuff. Thank you very much, Jennifer. You're good at this. Yay, I'm back. I'm still here. Okay, the stream survives. Guess who's back? The hamster has started again. Nicholas Rodriguez. I've just got the back of Manakapura angels. Anyone in any experience with them? I've never had them myself, but I've talked about them a bit and spoken to people who have kept them. Very similar to your Altum angel. Any advice that in fact, all angels are pretty much the similar advice. They're just cool as hell. A very cool as hell breed of angels, or strain of angels. Breed of angels, breed strain. Who knows? It wasn't that. I didn't think it would be you. I need some Starlink. I need out of the contract with PlusNet. That's what I need. I'm keeping a log of all these to prove that it's them that's the problem. I can get gigabit internet and they're throttling me down. Oh, sorry. There's nothing more infuriating than an IT person that's hamstrung by his internet provider. There are snakeheads for every size. Get a boat. I don't know where I'd get a bowfin over here. Right, shall we have a wee bit of a giveaway? Let's see if this works. Nightbot, are you playing games? Are you going to work for me tonight? Right, we've still got... I'm not going to spin the Kaylee wheel because... Oh, this has reminded me. You may have won a pen a couple of weeks back. And I probably haven't sent it out yet, so let me know. What we're going to do is we're going to give out one of the brand new Aquarium Adventures pens, certified good writer by many people. They're great. We're going to give away a pen and a key ring and some stickers. So we're going to do 3 of them to 3 people who guess. No, what will we do? Think about this, Graham. We're going to put up a keyword and run the draw 3 times and then give you all a key and sticker pack. What we're also going to do is, as Sharpie has thankfully reminded me there, for commenting, for super chats, for memberships, for all those things, there's a point system that's running in the background. So if you want to know what you've got, so for instance Sharpie's just typed in a command there, !top, to see who's at the top of the thing. At the last stream of every month, the person at the top will win a prize to be determined by me. So it might be a goodie bag for food, it might be a t-shirt, it might be a hoodie, it might be, I don't know, this. It probably won't be a camera. I'm looking around at things that are around me. It probably won't be a 3D printer either. But something, you'll win something. So if you want to see what the standings are, you can type in, there are various commands, I can't remember what they all are, but it's like typing in !top will tell you who the top 10 are or the top 5 are. If you type in !points, it'll tell you how many points you've got. There are various other commands. If you have a look, have a Google on Streamlabs loyalty system, it'll tell you what all the various commands are. But basically, time spent on stream, amount of chats that you do earn you points, being a subscriber earns you points, being a member earns you points, being super chats earns you points. This isn't a buy to win thing though, because you don't get that many more points for a super chat. In fact, I'm going to have to tell you now what all those things are, because now it makes me sound like I'm scamming you all. Streamlabs. Let's log in there. And we will make this log in. There you go. We will make this international as well. So if you don't live in the UK, but you're still a top contributor and you win that month's prize, maybe it'll be a gift certificate to, I don't know, Aquarium Co-op or Amazon or whatever it might be. So it'll be an appropriate prize, and it's not always going to be high value things. Sometimes it might just be stickers. Yeah, it will depend. We will try and make sure we say what the prize is going to be before we draw it, so I'm not accused of, oh, you don't like me, that's why you've only sent me this. It's all going to be above board. We'll make sure everything's kosher, legit, all that kind of stuff. Pardon me, so ill. Loyalty, there we go. Commands, default. Right, little face. Let me just move me out the way. So the commands here are all to do with loyalty. So !points depends, shows you how many points you've got. Top, show you the top are. Top hours. Add points, if you want to give your points to someone else, we can do that. Remove points, only moderators can do these ones, you can take them away. So if your name is Music Stories, for instance, and you annoy our moderators, they will take your points away. And give, if you want to give your points to someone else. So if you think someone is more deserving than you for the points that you've earned, give your points away. And then if I go over to loyalty, oh dear, it shows what you get. So every 5 minutes you should get a point. I don't think this bit works unless you're on Twitch, or every time you make a comment you get a point. But again, let's be clear, no spamming, that's not what we're going for here. If you subscribe you get 10 points, if you become a member you get 10 points, if you make a donation you get 2 points, if you do a super chat you get 2 points. That's just so I show an appreciation for a super chat, but I don't try and say, yeah, give me more super chats, you've got more of a chance of winning, because I think that's a happy medium. So that's where we're at. So having said all that, this week we're just going to give away some pens, some stickers, and some the other thing, keyring, that's the word. And then at the end of the month, so the last stream of every month, I might need you to remind me of this, but in the last stream of every month, whoever's winning at the end of that stream will win a prize. So it might be a t-shirt, it might be a hat, it might be a goodie bag, it could be anything, it might be a pot noodle, who knows. So bear that in mind. That's just to get everyone talking a little bit more. There's lots of people who lurk in the background, they're shy. It's not a clique. If you're here watching, you're welcome to interact, you're welcome to say your opinion, you're welcome to ask questions. I'm not one of these people who only picks on the people that I recognise or know, so I try and read most comments and most questions. But yeah, just make yourself known, say hello, all that kind of stuff. So, having said all that, for tonight's giveaway, we're just going to use the good old keyword. So I'll share my screen again. I'll move my ugly mug out. I'll move my ugly mug out the way. I've got mods and everyone No, you have to type it on this screen, Graham, you idiot. And tonight's word is going to be shinternet, which is a new word that I'm inventing. Shinternet. 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 Type that into chat, and you were in with a chance. UK only though, this one. You're in with a chance of winning. If you're not from the UK and you want to play, by all means play. You can just nominate someone in the UK to receive your prize should you win. And with that said, I shall now go back and check on some of the comments. I'll go back to Big Face so we can see the comments. I hear Starlink isn't reliable or very high speeds. I think it's still more reliable than my shinternet. Pardon me. If I win, I'll give it to Sharpie. Much more affordable for freight than sending it to Canada. There you go. The monthly one, we'll make that international, but if it's international, it'll be electronic prizes for international winners. So I'll give, if for instance it's if it's a physical prize that we want to send away and it's an American or an Australian that wins, we'll find a substitute virtual prize. Or we'd always have the spread shop merch, which is international. That sends to anywhere, so we could do that as well. So if you want a Oh My Balls t-shirt, for instance, you can get them anywhere in the world. You just have to go into my Spreadshirt shop. I love how the streams are becoming more interactive. Also, when did you get the emojis to start working on the on-screen comments? You said that without using any emojis, so as I can't prove it. Yes, that's one of my more proudest moments. I did a lot of work to get that to work. And it kind of almost works flawlessly as well. Like this. Plus net cock. Yeah, so I managed to get it to show your status. So right, here, if you're a member, your membership status will show there. Your YouTube profile picture will show there. Your comment, obviously, and then if you use any of the emojis, they should show up as well. What are your thoughts on pellet food for discus? Quite nice. I nothing against pellet food for discus. In fact, I almost exclusively feed my discus on a pellet food. It's the food that I sell on my website. I can never remember the name of. It's the soft Artemia pellets. So it's kind of in between a pellet and a soft food. But yeah, that's my go-to food. I've yet to meet a fish that does not like it. As well as them, I've used the dinner lay pellets, discus soft stuff. I love that stuff. I've used that for a long time. Yeah, I've not fed beef heart or any of those frozen fish heart, pork heart. I've not fed any of them for a long time. Not saying they're bad or anything. Shinternet. Shinternet. Plusnet. Because I work in IT, if you came to work for my company and worked in a network team and you didn't cut it, you left and you went to work for Plusnet. I should have never gone with them in the first place, but I just got too good a deal. And they're fine. I mean, they're generally fine. It's just that I had Plusnet in my old place and the internet there was fine. Just in this place, it's terrible. So up and down, and it's not the router. I've done just about everything I can think of on my end of it to make it more stable. I've got ping plotter traces running 24/7 that show that it's not my end. Too slow for TikTok. I end up having to use my phone data. Well, that brings me into a nice segue. If you're on TikTok, so is this guy. I'm sure there are links down there somewhere. Every 6 months I post a TikTok. I've just had to move my middle son, onto unlimited data on his phone plan as well, because he managed to burn through 160 gigabytes this month. So that's a true indictment of our internet at home, that the kids will just sit on their 4G. Right, we've got 19 eligible users so far. Got some wild goldfish last year. They're blackish brown, but this year, after they've been outdoors for a week, some of them have got a white belly. I've seen some amazing transformations on videos of people with goldfish that are either jet black and turn back to gold, or white from gold and white from black. Yeah, some really very, very environment specific behaviour. Yeah, you know what, as James said, I work from home and there's nothing worse than getting a internet moment. I kind of dine out on them now. It's like, oh right, I've just joined this call. Hello everybody. Obviously my internet may cut out it. Not at all, if you're watching. Never done that before. Oh, it's jumping around. There you go. Become a member. That's what you can do. If you want to support me with my extremely expensive mega tank hobby, you can join this channel. You get exclusive access to all these emojis, like what Jennifer is telling you about there. You also, if you join at the hero adventurer level, so there's 2 levels. There's one that's just thanks, joining, being a member. If you join as a hero, you also get 10% off everything at my website, merch, food, the lot, as well as your name, if you remind me, on the end credits to every video forever. God, it's really hard to drive chat sometimes. If plus net was a corridor, it would be a Ineos. Oh, the sounds aren't working. Why is that not working? Sounds aren't working. Have a look at your shop next time I'm buying some food. I need to burn through these blister packs. Well, there's no better time to introduce new food is when you're getting to the nearly end of your old food, because then you can start to do both together. I've found it's a lot easier to get fish onto. So if a fish is only eating live food, for instance, I usually will feed a little bit of live food with some dry food, and then they notice the 2 things are definitely food. Because if you just go a straight swap, they're a bit like, oh, what the hell's that? Clearly not food, because it wasn't moving, so I'm not going to touch it. The same with like pellet training and things like that. It's not that I'm trying to push you to go and buy food now, but if you've still got some left, that might be the way to go for it. Yeah, it does have its benefits. Shinternet is pretty good sometimes when you want to get out something, but not when you're trying to do a live stream. Right, I think we're getting to the end of it there. We've got 19 eligible users. Let's go over to the little face. Whoa. That didn't... I keep trying to move the wrong thing around. I'm trying to move my face. Right, so there's our eligible users. Are we ready? Last couple of seconds to see if anybody else wants to do one. Drum roll. Why is none of the sounds working? Just try this. No, that's not working. Oh, is it working now? We've done it. Oh, I didn't realise you'll see that. Me messing around randomly pressing buttons. Right, are we ready? Start thinking of your jokes now that my joking button's working. Number 1, who's going to be our first prize winner this evening? Rocky, you have won a pen, a sticker, and the other thing that I can't remember. What was it? Keyring. Number 2. We'll do 3 of these. Ross Hill, congratulations Ross. You've won a pen, a sticker pack, and a keyring. I do like your profile picture. And last but not least, our final winner for this evening is Freshwater Ichthyology. Woo! Oh, you have to press the button, Graham. Woo! You've won a pen, like one of these. Trust me, that's a pen. Big face. Verified, good writers. I use them for notes. I think Courtney did an entire dissertation with one of these. Stickers and keyrings. So that's it for tonight for prizes. Last few minutes for any questions or any jokes. Now that we've got my joke face button back again. Or anything else you want to. Right, where do we get to? Internet's handy for boring Zoom meetings. Yeah, it gets you out a lot of things, but that's my point. I don't want to get out of this. I enjoy doing my live streams of a Friday evening. Chat so fast for results. I still haven't heard the answer for the draw here. So we had 3 winners. We had Ross, I think. Oh yeah, it's pretty fast. I can't remember. Ross, Freshwater Ichthyology, Ross Hale, and Rocky, was it? I can't find it in chat. But anyway, if you won, that's not my email address. Bear with me, caller. If you won, email me, Graham, spelt correctly, Graeme, Graham at aquariumventures.co.uk. Say, hello, I won a pen, or whatever. In fact, just say, I won on this time. You need to tell me your address, even if you've won something before and I've already sent you something, tell me your address. Because if I have to look it up, I'm not going to do it and I will forget. And I'll send you some stuff. Simple as that. The winners were Rocky, Ross Hale, and Freshwater Ichthyology. And obviously the key rings come in different flavours. You can have a cock ring, you can have a this sucks ring, you can have a this blows ring, or you can have a Discus logo. Cock ring is basically that picture on a key ring. And as I say, last few minutes of the stream, so it's been emotional. At least I got to moan about PlusNet again. Paul McCarthy, good evening. Just pardon me. Oh. Well done, guys. Indeed, well done. Discus. Okay, I had a discus jump this week. That's something I should have mentioned. So I'll use the last couple of minutes to discuss lids and why lids are a good thing on fish tanks. So discus aren't necessarily a jumpy fish, but they can get spooked every now and again. Whether it's by another fish, whether it can be something as simple as turning the lights on in the room that they're in. They're like, what the hell's that? And they're off. It can be another fish chasing them or harassing them. They're off. It can be a shadow. It can be anything. And if they, instead of going off and they go up, they go out. And this is the second fish I've lost to jumping. I mean, in, I don't know, 10, 15 years, however long it is. So it's a long time, but it can happen. And it's no fun to walk into a room and find quite a large fish, pardon me, just on the floor. This particular one, I think I was probably minutes away from getting there in time to save it, because it was still quite wet. It wasn't particularly cold. I put it straight back into the tank and I held it in the tank for a while trying to get water to go through its gills, but no, too late. But my point is, I had a lid on this tank, I just hadn't shut it. So there's nothing to make you feel bad. There's nothing to make you feel worse than not learning from your mistakes. So that's one of the founding principles of my YouTube channel, is look at all the mistakes I made. You don't have to make those mistakes because you can watch me make them, and then you get to benefit from my mistake and not do the same thing. But I'm not learning from my own mistake. I learned as much as made sure I had lids on all my tanks. But what, chocolate fireguard, you don't put. What's the point in putting a lid on a tank if you don't shut it? So I'm super frustrated with myself, especially as that was one of the larger discus as well. So it's never nice to lose a fish. It's worse when that fish is lost because of your own fault. I mean, maybe I'm being too harsh on myself because I didn't make it jump, but I did allow it to jump. It could have quite easily spooked and crashed into the side of the tank, knocked itself out. It could have quite easily crashed into a sharp piece of wood or something like that and speared itself and died as well. I probably wouldn't have felt quite as bad if that had happened, but because it jumps out, I feel like I have to blame myself for that one. But yeah, so it happens. I've had it happen with betta fish. I've had it happen with discus. I try and make sure that I put lids on tanks that will take lids, or it doesn't completely ruin the aesthetic. And then when I don't use lids, I like to use lots of floating plants, keep the water level down a bit, not right up to the very edge. Other techniques like that, but yeah, so this is just your little reminder that fish jump, and it makes you feel like shit when they do jump and die, because it's your fault. That's a little bit what I'm feeling at the moment. But I don't want to dwell on it and end it on such a sour note. And good news, Mega Tank is up and running. Water is going through it. It should be completely clear by tomorrow. I'm now going to beat myself up about what fish I'm going to put in it. Pardon me. I must admit, freshwater ecology, as soon as I found that fish, you were the first thing I thought of was, should I freeze this and send it to someone? But yeah, accidents happen. It's one of those things. Yeah, nobody likes to lose a fish. I don't have discus and I don't have lids, but I might sort it out now. Yeah, I mean, even some fish, even when you do put lids on, they'll still jump out, because they can be quite forceful when they want to. Like Paul says there, I've lost an Oscar by leaving the lid off. An Oscar would probably jump through a lid, even if you left the lid on. Don't dwell on fish deaths. It's about learning and moving on. Quite right. Learning is the main thing, but yeah, learning and remembering. That's the main thing. So I like that advice from Hans there. Just start with the goldfish. They go with lots of things. Yeah, goldfish do a good temperature range, do a good size range. And it annoys a lot of people on the internet when you keep goldfish for things that people don't expect you to keep goldfish with. But anyway, we'll leave it for there this evening. Thank you all ever so much for joining me. As always, if you have enjoyed any of this, click the subscribe button if you haven't already clicked the subscribe button. Join us on Discord up here if you want to carry on the fishy discussions after this. You see the after party there, or you should get a message to redirect you to the Cold Water Aquatic stream, which I believe will be starting imminently. But for now, from me, thank you for joining me. Sorry for coughing all the way through it. I didn't really mean to cough quite so much. But we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.